Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the NARAS Cup Series at Kansas. We are here with a minute left in practice as we see Gage Burns pull down to the inside. Caleb Hess right now on top of practice. Jordan Parker in second. Tanner Sidden, last week's winner, in third. Trent Sidden in fourth. Christian Mullen rounding out the top five. Some new faces here. You have the 19 of Selby, the 8 of Morton, the 14 of War returning from last season, the 63 of Ryder Morgan, the 20 of Parsons, and that rounds out all your new drivers for tonight. So obviously practice is not what points get paid out for, but you could see some of these drivers that are really good in practice be even better in the race. So that's what we're looking for today, to see what they're able to do. So we will have to see, as practice is going to go ahead and come to an end here at Kansas. Last time we were here was the playoffs in Season 1. I'm a little bit biased to that race, as we see Ryder Morgan get some air. That's new. I've never seen that in practice. So we're now going to go ahead and move into qualifying for tonight. I think one of the drivers I'm most interested in seeing qualify is going to be the 9 of Jordan Parker. He kept telling me this week how much he was going to change his line and he was going to do something different. And we will have to see if he does something different here today to everybody else. So we're going to go ahead and follow. I guess we'll follow. Let's follow last week's winner, Tanner Sidden in the 96. We'll follow him. And then when Jordan Parker decides to come out of pit road, we will hop on that machine for his qualifying. Once again, this is going to be I guess what you can call a full throttle qualifier. So pretty much throughout this entire thing, the throttle is going to be to the floor. Especially that first lap, you can get it to stick. But I think that second lap might actually be what matters a little bit more. So we'll see. Okay, so Tanner Sidden has chosen to set up his second lap by running the top his first lap. So just putting heat in the tires right now is the 96 of Sidden. As we see, John War won the Brickyard last year in Season 1 in overtime. We'll have to see what he's able to do in his return. Was originally supposed to run full-time for Race Chatter, but ended up going back to a part-time role. So we'll see what he's able to do here today. As we're going to go ahead and look at our results right now. Ryder Morgan currently in first place with a 30.61. As we are still waiting, actually now Jordan Parker is going to come out of pit road, so he's going to start his lap. As the 48 of Klotz is going to go to first on the board with a 30.56. As he's actually just now starting his second lap, so we'll see what he's able to do here with that. Trentson actually goes top of the board now with a 30.44. So we'll see what Klotz can do here. Morgan has jumped Klotz once again, so Klotz coming at a 4. Hess and Burns, two Tricon teammates, goes first and third on their first laps. Klotz ends up P4 for now, and John War slots into P3. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 9 of Jordan Parker here for his laps. Like I said, talked a big game when it comes to qualifying here, so we'll have to see if he's able to kind of, I guess, back up what he was saying. As he's still in his first lap, we see Mark Morton go to third, David Callahan slot in ninth, Joey Beam to fourth. Jordan Parker on his first lap will only slot in ninth, so he has to make up some really good time here on the second lap. You see him wrapping that bottom line. We'll just have to see if he wraps it quick enough. So Jordan Parker is one of 3 people still to qualify. Jordan Parker only slides up to P6, so whatever he was trying was not able to work. Let's take a look at Steven Selby making his debut tonight in that 19. Oh, I like that car. That 19 FedEx machine See where he's able to put it. Right now he's in last. I believe he did set up his first lap. So we'll have to see what he does here. Selby crossing the line. P7 for now. We're going to take a look at James Parsons here, also driving for David Callahan. As we take a look here, Parsons right now in P15. About 4/10 behind the leader in Hess. So we'll see what Parsons is able to do here in 3 and 4. Looks like a shallow entry into the corner. So we'll see. Chooses not to cut the apron. That's going to be some time loss. Parsons only moves up a position up to P14. Looks like our final qualifier here is Corey Rainey, right now in 18th. So we'll see what Corey Rainey is able to do here in the Jimmy John's 4 machine as he crosses the line. And he's going to go to second. So no one's able to beat Caleb Hess out here on straight pace. So Hess will get, I want to say his second pole of the season. I may be incorrect there. But Caleb Hess will steal the pole at Kansas. So we are now just waiting for qualifying to end. I don't think Corey McWilliams is going to be on track today. Or at least not for qualifying, so. Yeah, big deal right there for Caleb Hess starting up front. Not as crazy here as some other tracks just because of the racing, so we'll have to see what he's able to do. As we're going to go ahead, step away, and go into our national anthem for a little bit while the drivers go to their drivers meeting, so I will catch you all after the national anthem.
Can you see by
as we return to Kansas. It seems like the drivers' meeting is over, as we are going to go ahead and look at our pole sitter here. Caleb Hess in the 51 machine, making his, I believe, third start for the Tricon Garage Toyota team. I'm Owen Lax. I will be your only person in the booth tonight, as Tyler Jones was not able to make it. So it looks like we're doing a mock choose, possibly. Looks like maybe Callahan's in front. So it looks like a mock choose tonight. There was supposed to be a choose cone rule, but it looks like our person who is designated to do so will not make it tonight. So we will go by, I believe, the old choose rule. Just doing kind of a practice choose right now for everybody, as we are waiting for practice to end right now, or warm up to end right now. Still have a minute and a half, or 4.5 minutes. Wow, that wasn't even close. So we'll see if there's any laps put down, or if it's just it might be a lot of pacing practice, a lot of choose cone. Obviously there were a lot of penalties after last week. We're going to go ahead and look at it. John Lewis lost 15 points post Auto Club due to several penalties. So, that's major for him. I think Jordan Otten may have lost some. I know Jordan Otten did get suspended for this race after intentionally wrecking the 9 of Jordan Parker. Some cars you'll see here tonight are going to have rookie stripes. Rookie stripes are going to be made, I guess, official for NARAS for the first time. So I believe, yes, you see them here on the 18. I know they're going to be on the 19 and the 20. I believe you'll see them on the 5, the 48, the 24. So all these drivers who are new this season, drivers like Lucas Lewis, who were here last season, they will not have those stripes. So, a major change when it comes to, I guess, the contingencies of each car. I'm trying to see what else there is as major here. Okay, so the 96, 99, 33, 29, the 09, 24, 5, 18, 19, 20, the 77, 48, 41, 52, 16, 56, 64, 88, and the 8 will all have rookie stripes because they are all new drivers, as we see these guys starting to put down some laps here. I think just a little bit to get used to one another before we have another race like we did last week at Auto Club. Obviously that race was filled with cautions, as we see Christian Mullen dime it to the inside of the 11 of Lucas Lewis. Lucas is probably not going to be super happy with that move. I know I spoke with Lewis earlier this week, and he said he was going to try and kind of clean up his act a little bit, and moves like that certainly are not going to help him. So it looks like we have this pack of 5 that's up here, and it looks like further back you have Burns, Parker kind of together, and then it looks like you might have the 42 of Hahn back here with another pack that has War, Hess. Actually, War and Hess was getting the wall there. So, and you see the 19 kind of back here running his own kind of race. So, yeah, tonight's going to be interesting. Obviously, been a few months since anyone here ran at Kansas. So we'll have to see what they are able to do. Tonight will be the 96 of Tanner Siddon's last race until December. Obviously, Siddon was your winner at Auto Club. However, he is not locked into the playoffs as he is a part-time driver. And as a part-time driver, that means that he is ineligible for the playoffs. So we'll have to see what Tanner Siddon can do in his final start. The biggest thing I'm looking forward to is the fact that I can just say Siddon now and not have to specify which Siddon it is. So it's a big win for me. But obviously that's another car that won't be here in the coming weeks. So at the same time, while it makes my life a little bit easier, it also, we'd like to have them. So let's take a look here. It looks like Gage Burns still running behind. Actually, the 9 of Parker did get by the 55 of Burns. Burns running that new Kingsford Toyota Camry for Tricon Garage. Looks like Parker's actually drafting off the 5 of... I believe that's the 5 of Mullen. That may be the 48, as they do have very similar schemes. I think the 5 and the 48 are just the inverse of each other with the blue and red. So that's not going to make my life hard at all. I'm going to try and see if I can find Klotz on pit road. Yeah, it's just the inverse, so that'll be not hard to tell at all. Looks like Caleb Hess coming back out of pit road. His warm-up is over. We will be going to the grid here. I believe a new procedure for that as well, as I think they're going to line up and do like an engine firing. So we'll have to see how that takes place. Once again, we are just waiting for the race to start. While they are doing that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup. The 51 of Caleb Hess steals the pole once again. The 4 of Rainey, the winner from Atlanta, in P2. Trenton Sidden in P3. Mark Morton, the rookie, in P4. Joey Beam in P5. Lucas Lewis in P6. Jordan Parker in the 9 in P7. Steven Selby making his debut in P8. John War, your Indy winner from Season 1, returning once again for tonight in P9. Daryl Klotz in the 48 for Parker Motorsports in P10. Gage Burns in the 11 for Tricon. In the 55 for Tricon in P11. Ryder Morgan in the 63 in P12. As we're going to go ahead and look further down the order. Then you have David Callahan, P13. Joshua Hahn, P14. James Parsons, P15. Christian Mullen, P16. Christopher France, P17. And Tanner Sidden, P18. Corey McWilliams will technically be 19th. There was an issue with me getting in, so I did have to join as a driver. So there's 19 drivers for tonight, not 20, as much as I would love to be in this race. I don't get to be. So that is not what I get to do tonight. As we look at our pole sitter of Caleb Hess, we're going to go ahead and drag him for an interview. I know he just got back to his VC, but I wish to speak with him. Caleb, this is Owen in the booth, so you got me?
Yeah, I got you.
So how many... Is that your second pole of the season? I feel like you've gotten one before.
Yeah, I got one at Auto Club the last race, so I'm 2 in a row right now.
That's what I said. I just had to fact check before I said anything wrong. Just making sure we're 2 to green right now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to start talking to you during the fire off. So, obviously, second pole in a row. You don't really gain anything out of it as much. Obviously, the first one locked you into the Clash for next season. This one kind of comes down just to more starting position than anything now. So, obviously, you're good on your own. How can you kind of change how you drive to be faster on other people?
Honestly, I don't know. Kansas is such just like kind of a random track. It's very difficult to predict the conditions, so it's just gonna have to be something I learn as the race goes on.
So obviously with Callahan now picking up teammates, you're not able to work with him as much. How does this affect the teamwork between Toyota teams, as you're not able to really communicate privately as much?
It's gonna be a little rough, but I still think we're gonna have a connection, a manufacturer connection, even though we can't really talk to each other. So teamwork will kind of be a little scrappy, but I think all of us will kind of get the same idea. Also, we're 1 to green, entering 3, so we might have to wrap this up.
Yeah. All right. Good luck tonight. Hopefully, we're interviewing you later.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I don't want to mess him up. That was Caleb Hess, the 51 machine, as we are about to go green here at Kansas. So we will see what he's able to do here for the Fisher Studios 262. 175 laps tonight at Kansas Speedway. As we are going to fire off here in the restart zone. Caleb Hess will lead the bottom line into turn 1. We'll see if he's able to lead the first lap here. Corey Rainey on his outside going into 1. Looks like he got a good run, as Hess is going to drop to that bottom side. Randy's going to try and stick to the outside of Hess. Wants to be able to get to that right quarter panel on the back stretch. As Hess is barely going to keep his nose ahead. We'll see how this battle goes here for P1. Hess looks like he's cleared the 4 of Rainey, so we'll see if Hess decides to move up here. He kind of does a little bit and then slides back down. As Caleb Hess will lead the first lap of tonight. Seeing some crazy battles back here in the low 10s, high single digits, so we'll have to see here as we saw the 63 of Ryder, I believe, get in the wall. So you can see him kind of squirrely off the corner there, so we'll have to see what he's doing. John War in the 14, Steven Selby in the 19. You see Daryl Klotz in that 48 trying to rip that high side early. Jordan Parker kind of sitting. I mean, he's gained 2 spots from his starting position, so we'll have to see what he's able to do here as he looks under the 8 of Morton and possibly under the 4 of Rainey as well. Looks like Rainey got a little bit squirrely on that high side there, so Parker moves from 5th to 3rd in one corner. Parker is the winner of this race from the spring race last year, so he's really trying to go back-to-back. It is also his home track. So DNF'd the last 3 races, so we're really looking for, you know, that kind of resurgence for Jordan Parker. Kind of struggled the last few weeks. Not really due to any fault of his own. I think the only real genuine mistake he made was Atlanta, coming off of pit road. He just... I mean, it wasn't the first time we saw that night, just catching your rear tire on that apron will send that car around. As we see him up to P2, might make a move here to P1. He goes to the bottom of the 51 of Hess. Parker's going to rip the bottom, trying to go around Caleb Hess in that Toyota Camry. As a Chevy Camaro goes up to the front of the field for the first time tonight in the 9 of Jordan Parker. So we see Morton possibly blinking out a little bit. We saw him drop to the bottom of that standings. So not entirely sure what's going on there. It looks like getting trapped on the top side really is not working for some of these drivers. Obviously, Hess kind of lost some position there. He might get that bump from the 8 of Morton. That might help him a bit, but the top side just is that much longer distance around the track that, you know, there is a deficit there to running it. As you see Jordan Parker continue to lead laps here in the 9 machine. Trenton Sidden trying to follow behind him and move up into P2. Caleb Hess trying his best to make sure that's not possible. Looks like Jordan's going to try and help his manufacturer teammate in the 99 of Sidden, both in Chevrolet Camaros, while Caleb Hess is in a Toyota Camry. Mark Morton also drops to the bottom, so the 51 of Hess looks to be getting freight trained right now. So you see a bit of action further back. Looks like maybe around the 5 of Mullen, or maybe the 11 of Lewis. Looks like the 11 of Lewis, so Lewis is going to go around the 41 of Beam, slide up behind the 99 of Sidden. Looks like Morton is trying to make some aggressive moves early. Morton dives back down to the bottom, you see on the front of your screen there. As Morton's actually going to go below the 9 of Parker, and looks like Morton might take the lead here this race on lap 7. As we see a major pack catch back up to this lead 4 or 5 cars we saw earlier this race. This pack is starting to get that draft and catch back up. As we see Jordan go all the way to that top side. Looks like he's going to slide back down, try and carry that momentum down the track. Going to stay on the outside of the 8. Looks like he's going to get a decent run here. We'll see if he's able to clear. He's not able to. He thought about it. You can see him kind of slide down a little bit. He's maybe a little bit sideways there in 3 and 4. See what Parker's able to do here, coming to the line. He's underneath the 8 of Morton. Morton leads his first lap of the day in that 8 machine. Parker rips it around the inside of Morton. You have to wonder at what point do tires play a factor. We didn't get a lot of tire wear racing last week at Auto Club, except for that final run, and that was really more a thing of, you know, when do you pit? When did they pit for tires? And it ended up being Tanner Sidden and Kenneth Colson that benefited the best out of that. Obviously Tanner, I can't find him on here. P14 right now, so maybe not the race he was looking for to follow up his Auto Club victory. And then Kenneth Colson actually was unable to show up tonight, so we actually have a caution. Looks like Joshua Hahn, possibly. Oh, a big wreck back here. 63 of Ryder Morgan involved. We're going to rewind a little bit. I want to see what happened here. Oh, the 63 of Morgan just clears up into the 48, and it just, oh, that's not good. Okay, so the 63 of Morgan you see here clears up into the 48, who was on his outside, tries to slow down and just. I think he's going to be done. I think that 48 is going to have heavy damage. I'm not. The 42 might have some heavy stuff. That 14 might have some right rear damage. So another early caution, another one of these races. I'm not sure how happy the 9 of Parker is going to be about that. It's been kind of a trend that we've seen, a very early caution in almost every race. Obviously, we had that caution lap 5 and lap 11 at Auto Club that took out a lot of cars. We had that lap 5 wreck at Vegas that took out a lot of the front runners, took out the 99, the 9, all those guys. So once again, another early wreck here today. As we see everyone pull down to pit road, I think they are able to make it on fuel here. The stages are going to be 50, 50, 75. So we will have to see what happens here. Because I almost just read the Talladega stages. So based on what I heard earlier this week while they were testing, it seems like about 40 or so laps of fuel. So you really can't even save that much under caution. Obviously from lap 12 you're going to be able to make it. So we actually saw, looks like maybe 3 of the Toyotas stay out. Yeah, so none of the David Callahan racing cars have pit. So you have Steven Selby in the 19, you have Parsons in the 20, and David Callahan in the 18. I know it says the 81, his number hasn't been fixed, but he is in the 18 now. Lewis did pit on the same lap as everyone else. So I wonder if he just didn't take tires, same with Hess, and then everyone behind them did. So as they are choosing right now, so all Toyota top 5, once again for the first time in NARAS history. We had the first top 3 last week. We have the first top 5 this week. So Toyota's getting really strong really quickly here in the NARAS Cup Series. As the 43 of Klotz, the 63 of Morgan are still in pit road, so most likely their competitiveness is going to be done. I don't think they'll be competitive and fighting for the win anymore. Obviously, Ryder making his first start. Klotz, I believe, is in that part-time car for Parker Motorsports, so heavy losses for those drivers, but point standings wise, not a major blow for anybody really. So we'll have to see how aggressive these Chevrolets get behind these Toyotas. As we see the 19 of Selby making his series debut, leading laps here at Kansas. As we go into the restart zone, he's going to choose to fire off. Seems like late in the box here. As Selby's going to be clear already going into 1. It looks like he's going to go to that high side. Callahan's going to file. So all the Callahan cars were on the top. Oh, they're wrecking in the back. The 20 of Parsons. Another early wreck here. Oh, it looks like a lot of guys may be involved. So it started with the 20 of Parsons. At least what I saw was from the 20 of Parsons. So we're going to take another look here. So possibly a wayward push from Lewis. Let's take a look. So Parsons had a really slow start. Lewis trying to get him going. Oh, it just wiggles and gets turned by Lewis. And Parker gets put to the outside wall by his teammate Mullen. Beam gets turned around, so just not a great start from the 20. Obviously, the 11 is trying to get his line moving because he's unable to move, and when the 20 shifts, it puts the 11 in a spot that you can't really push, and you don't really have time to react there when that happens. So obviously some people are going to say it's pretty typical of that 11 car, but I really don't think he could have done anything there. So the 51 of Hess will inherit the race lead as the 19 and 18 are going to dive to pit road here. The 63 of Ryder Morgan has left the race. He is now out. So, few drivers pitting. Parker, Beam, in for damage. Parsons, probably just with his Toyota teammates, but also in for damage. We see Lewis stay out. I think that's everyone that was involved. You may see, yeah, Mullen pits in for front-end damage that I believe may have been sustained in the wreck. Same with the 99, so... One thing I've noticed in these races in the NARAS Cup Series is, especially when the caution happens early, cautions breed cautions pretty commonly here. So, we'll have to see if there's another quick one. Like I said, I don't think Parsons got the jump he needed, and it really cost him there in that 20 machine, making his, once again, series debut, him and Selby both. So, just really not what he wanted. It's what he got, but it's not what he wanted. So, yeah. So we're going to go back up here, take a look at the 51 of Hess. Looks like he's going to be choosing this time, as Hess is going to choose the bottom. We've seen every leader choose the bottom so far. Likely will be a trend that we see tonight. We've seen how good that bottom line is. I wouldn't say necessarily dominant, but definitely, I would say it's preferred. I think that top line really is not going to be used all that much until the tires wear out. Because once the tires wear out, you're just going to be able to hold your throttle down on the top, and that's going to be where you make most of your time. But as of right now, bottom side is going to be the most dominant. So we are just waiting to see what they are able to do here. Caleb Hess back into the lead after the first few laps of this race. So we'll see if he's able to hold it until lap 50 when stage 1 finishes. Looks like Caleb Hess, Mark Morton, Corey Rainey in the 4, then Lucas Lewis in the 11. Rounding out the front 2 rows, Gage Burns in the 55. Trenton Sidden in the 99, then David Callahan, Tanner Sidden, the 21 of France, and the 42 of Hahn. As the pace car is going to peel back onto pit road. We're going to take a look here as Caleb Hess is going to fire off in the restart zone. He got another good launch. That outside really stacking up for the second time in a row. Lewis needs to get down while he can, and he chooses to this time. As Hess is really gone from his competition as of right now. But you have to wonder if he didn't take as many tires that last pit stop, as we did see him jump the 9 of Parker by a few seconds. So Rainey's going to look to the outside of the 51 of Hess. Lucas is going to follow, it seems. Oh no, Lucas is going to file behind the 51 of Hess, his teammate. Looks like he did catch a little bit of dirty air and slides up. As Rainey and Hess are fighting for the lead once again, looking very similar to the start of this race. Rainey will lead his first lap of the night. Klotz has come out of pit road 4 laps down after his incident with the 63 of Morgan. As we see, Caleb Hess continue to stay on that bottom line whenever he can. As Rainey continues to make that run happen on the top side. Looks like Rainey gets closer and closer to clearing that 51 of Hess every time he runs that top side. As Hess is actually going to have a great run down the bottom. Rainey going to side draft, get that run off the top. The biggest thing for Rainey right now is making sure he keeps the momentum while he can. Because he's not going to win on pure pace, I think, on that top side. He really needs to kind of keep his composure when it comes to, I guess, choosing how he uses that throttle. So Hess, once again, going to stay on the bottom here. Looks like a lot of 2x2 down here on the back. As we see some people diving onto the apron in the front stretch, that's really a choice. It doesn't make too much of a difference, especially in these cars when they're so draft dependent. As Hess actually gets a good run on the bottom. We'll see if he's able to carry it through here. You see Rainey kind of pin Hess to the bottom to try and make him let up a little bit. It hasn't really worked for Rainey, as Rainey's going to go wide, and it looks like Hess is going to reclaim the lead. The big thing right now for Hess is just trying to get clear of this 4, that way he can kind of slide up. Because if he can slide up, it's going to save his tires a bit more. It's really destroying his tires to have the 4 all over his side like that, and forcing him to kind of have the wheel turned in more. So he wants to allow that car to kind of not slide up, but kind of like settle itself back up the track. As he once again is getting a really good turn in 3 and 4. I feel like Hess is better in 3 and 4, and Rainey's better in 1 and 2. As of right now, at least. Hess is actually going to clear the 4 Rainey. So he's going to be on his own on lap 23 of 175. Looks like Parker's still on pit road, so possibly another unfinished race for the 9. That would be his fourth in a row if he's unable to get back on track. So we'll have to see what he's able to do. Hess remains in the lead. Trent Siddon and Corey Rainey fighting for second right now. Looks like Callahan's going to now fight Rainey for third, as Siddon's able to get clear. Callahan was the winner at Las Vegas in a late finish, I believe, with 5 to go. So trying to rekindle that magic on the 1.5, as he's going to dive below the 99 of Trent Siddon. He is on the freshest tires in the field. The 18 is. He hit under that last caution. A lot of these guys up here did not, so trying to use that tire advantage as much as he can right now. As you've got the 51 of Hess and the 18 of Callahan together, 1-2. This isn't the first time, honestly, in the last 2 races we've seen this. We see this combo a lot. I've never seen them actually make contact with each other than pushing in Atlanta, so obviously these two seem to like racing with each other. They're not hitting off of one another over and over again, so it's not like they have an issue. So as we're halfway through stage 1 here, David Callahan's going to look under the 51 of Hess. It looks like Callahan is going to clear Hess off of 2. As he slides up here, Hess will follow, it seems like. You see Morton in the 8 starting to fall back a little bit. Rainey trying to make up some lost ground as he dives to the bottom under the 99. He's actually going to slide up a little bit. Maybe across the 99's nose. So that 8 car is blinking pretty repeatedly. I'd say it's pretty consistently as well, so I don't know if anything will be done for that. Usually there is, but it's not. He hasn't really affected anyone majorly as of right now. As Hess is going to dive to the bottom of the 818 into 3. The same move Callahan pulled on Hess earlier in the race. As Rainey's actually going to slide up. Might have tried to make it 3 wide on the top. We'll see what he does here into 1. As he's alongside the 51 right now. Looks like he's clear. And he's going to go to the bottom. Callahan will mirror drive him down the track. Rainey is kind of forced to slide up. That's going to pull Siddon alongside the top of Hess. As Hess has no one to work with as of right now, as they're all going to drive to the bottom now. As the 51 of Hess slots in 4th. So we'll have to see what he does here. Looks like Rainey in the wall, Hess in the wall hard. Oh, the 96 gets turned by the 42. No caution yet. Oh, now it's out. Oh, it looks like a big hit right there for the 96. I think someone hit him again, maybe. Did see someone go by, it looks like. I don't know if there was contact. No, it doesn't look like there was. So we see the 96. The 42 gets a massive run, dives it under the 96, and just there's no room there. What I'm interested in is I thought I saw someone just nail him. Oh, it was that 19. So they all barely missed it. I feel like you didn't have to be that close to him, but... Third caution of the day. Now for last week's race winner, Tanner Siddon. So... kind of saves Hess, as Hess got into the wall pretty majorly. We did see Rainey tap it. But Hess kind of... He got stuck in it. And that car will do it sometimes the way the right rear pokes out. It'll catch that wall and stick into it. And it's kind of hard to get off sometimes, so... So we go back to the lead of this pack. Callahan does have the freshest tires in the field right now, other than maybe some of the lap cars. I do believe the 20 of Parsons will receive the lucky dog here. I may be wrong. We're gonna see. As we see, Callahan does pull onto pit road, so does Rainey, Sidden. Morton chooses to stay out. Hess, Burns, Hahn, War, Lewis, Selby, Beam, McWilliam. Everyone pits in except for the 96 of Sidden. The 9 of Parker's a lap car. So Morton and Sidden both choose to stay out. Everybody else pits in. So Morton definitely is a sitting duck. I don't know. And then the 96 of Sidden, his tires are going to be destroyed after getting turned. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with the call. I think Morton's just going to lose more position. Sidden obviously was already in the back, so he kind of just needs to see what he can keep right now. As we see the 20 getting his lap back. Looks like Callahan is going to win the race off of pit road. Rainey second, so no major changes in position. So it looks like Hess didn't have any major damage, as we do see him pull off fifth of the people that pit. As we see that 24 of France in front of him. It does say 21 on the board, but it is the 24. So just that number just hasn't been updated here. We're going to go back up here to the lead. Looks like Mark Morton does choose to stay out again. Same with the 96 of Sidden. So 2 cars on older tires. I think Sidden's... If Sidden chooses the opposite of... Oh, Sidden does choose the opposite of Morton. So with Rainey and Callahan behind, we'll have to see who's able to, I guess, get around these 2 slower cars quicker. Callahan actually chose the top side, and Rainey chose the bottom, so I think Rainey's going to come out on top here. My only thought process is Morton and Sidden may be saving a set because they saw how bad Callahan made up so much time, even on 2-lap newer tires. So we'll have to see what they're able to do here as they come to the green flag for the 4th time today. Obviously the 3rd caution. So we will have to see what happens here. I think this is either going to be really chaotic or really underwhelming for what I've made it seem. So it looks like 2 Toyotas on the top behind Sidden, and a Ford and a Chevy behind the 8 of Morton. So we'll have to see, like I said, who's able to get around these lap cars here. We're going into the restart zone. Morton will shoot off. Looks like Sidden did not get the jump he wanted. Rainey will likely inherit the lead here on the newer tires. So Lewis behind the 18 of Callahan. Callahan's going to try and clear to the bottom. He's unable to because the 99 of Trent Sidden is there. Lewis is going to dive to that bottom as well, try and get around both of them. Callahan looks like he's kind of stuck, like wants to make that move, but doesn't feel safe doing it. He finally does make the move on the 96. Slots behind the 11 and falls to 5th on track right now. Morton still holding the lead. We'll see how long that lasts with the 4 of Rainey behind him on newer tires. Well, I guess the rest of the field behind him on newer tires. As Rainey almost gets into the side of the 11. As Lewis is going to dive down and inherit second. And it looks like he's going to look for a move here on the 8 of Morton. As he's going to go all the way to that white line. And he's going to send it to that inside of the 8. And he's going to clear him in the corner. The old tires from Morton just aren't working. As we see Callahan also grab P2 from Morton. Rainey looking for 3rd on Morton. All 3 of them clear before they even get to turn 1. Joey Beam, been pretty quiet tonight, was involved in that 2nd caution. He's sitting 5th, fighting with the 24 for that position. As we see the 8 of Morton blink out once again. Lewis continues to lead. Callahan fires one to the bottom. Rainey sits behind both of them, looking to wait to make that move at the right time. Coming to 15 to go in the first stage. As we see, I believe that was the 24, get really loose there on that top side. Actually, no, that was the 41 of Beam. We saw him kind of get squirrely there for a split second on the camera. There's actually something I'm noticing right now. The 77 of McWilliams is up 13 positions from where he started. He didn't qualify, chose to start in the back, and he's moved up to P7. Looks like he's going to lose that position to Caleb Hess. Unless Hess does have some damage that we can't see. So McWilliams has done a good job getting through the field. David Callahan actually also did have a poor qualifying, and he's up 12 positions, so that pit strategy call on that first and second caution did help that 18 car. As Lewis fires one to the bottom of Callahan. Callahan trying to hold Lewis to the bottom. Looks like Lewis might have gotten loose out of the corner there. As Lewis does lead lap 37. We'll see Lewis once again get pinned on the bottom. So really it's a matter here of momentum versus shorter distance. So Callahan's going to have the momentum. However, Lucas Lewis is going to get to go around the shorter side of the track, as the momentum does seem to win for now. Callahan fires it on top of Lewis on the backstretch and is able to get by. As Lewis just slides behind Callahan, trying to produce that run. Which is something you have to do in these cars sometimes. Like, sometimes you can't fight for that position. You just kind of have to accept that they're faster than you, get behind them and try and make a run for yourself. And make it possible for you to pass them. As Corey Rainey looks like he's trying to do that same thing on the 11 here. We'll see if he does anything into turn 3, as we see the 11 of Lewis actually blinks a little bit. So 4 of Rainey did lose a lot of time in 3 and 4 there. Maybe saving his tires a little bit. As Callahan continues to lead. 11 to go in the first stage here. No real changes up front right now. We do see the 51 of Hess starting to work back through the field. Obviously did have that hard contact with the wall right before that last caution. So that last caution really helped him, because he was continuing to lose places when that happened. So Hess looking to the inside of the 41 of Beam. Currently P6, fighting for P5. I think he will get some positions here with everyone starting to line up on the bottom. Lucas Lewis Callahan's going to get hung out on the top here. As you see the 41 of Beam get stuck in the wall. He's going to come down and almost hit the 77 of McWilliams. And it looks like they're going to be okay for now. So Hess gets P5, Han P4, Rainey P2, or P3, fighting for P2 with Callahan. And Lewis is about 3/10 ahead in P1. As there's 9 laps to go in the first stage here. Lewis kind of just hoping that they're going to fight each other. But with that draft effect here, it's not really going to mean all that much, because the second they finish fighting, they're going to start catching that 11 car. As we do still see a little bit of fighting back here. It looks like Han and Hess, then Beam and McWilliams, but it looks like Beam's starting to fall back a little bit. See, Hess maybe looking to the outside of Callahan. I don't think it's going to work. He's going to lose the position to Han. It looks like he might also lose the position to McWilliams. McWilliams moves into P5 here. As I see Lewis actually not losing as much time as I expected. I really thought he would have lost a bit more. He still is losing about a 10th or 2 a lap. So, but he does gain a ton in 3 and 4 almost every time. It's just that draft down the front and back stretch really is hurting him. Lewis continues to lead the 4 of Rainey, the 42 of Han, the 18 of Callahan, and the 77 of McWilliams. The 77 of McWilliams, I'd argue this is definitely his best run he's had. He's up 15 positions since the start of the race. He's fighting with the pole sitter of Caleb Hess, looking to the inside of Vegas winner of Callahan. So McWilliams really trying to impress after, I guess, just not really having that experience beforehand. So once again, looking to that inside of Callahan. Looks like he might clear Callahan here. McWilliams is going to move up to 4th. Hess going to slide behind Callahan, as we're coming to 5 to go in the stage. Lewis still kind of holding that about 2 to 3/10 gap. Didn't gain as much that time. Looks like Rainey only lost about 2/300ths in the corner. He's going to continue to gain down this front stretch on the 11 of Lewis. You can see Rainey does choose that higher line on entry. It looks like that's where he's losing his time, but he is arcing in, and it's allowing him to keep his foot in the gas and in that draft for a bit longer. And I think that's what's allowing him to stick with Lewis and also gain a little bit of time when able. You see Rainey once again slide up right behind Lewis. Rainey trying to stay out of the wall there, got really close. As we do see someone in the wall back there. I think that's the 41 of Beam once again. We have 4 to go in stage 1 here. Lucas Lewis trying to make sure the 4 of Rainey is unable to make that move. Lucas Lewis is your current points leader here. We'll take a look at the points after stage 1. I meant to pull them up earlier. So Han's starting to make a run here that we didn't see earlier. McWilliams starting to fall off of this pack again. So it looks like this top 3 is really the fight for the stage win here. McWilliams maybe, if he can get that run, will be a little bit closer. Rainey maybe looking for a move here. Lewis is going to go to the bottom as well. Looks like Rainey might lose a little bit of time here, but he is going to have that draft on the backstretch. As Rainey gets loose off the corner maybe. And this is just opening the door for Han, because Han is slowly gaining time. You can see he kind of has that same entry as Rainey, where he's a little bit higher and diamonds it in a little bit. So we'll have to see here. There's 2 to go in the first stage. Corey Rainey still looking for that move on the 11 of Lewis. Once again trying that alternate line. Seems to work for him if he can keep the tires under him, but if he gets loose or hits that wall, I think Lewis has definitely got it. So Lewis just trying to force that mistake. As Corey Rainey's going to fire one in on the 11. Going to slide up. Going to make contact. Lucas got really lucky that didn't hook him, as Rainey actually hits the wall there. Maybe a little bit of a gutsy move from the 4 of Rainey. As the 11 of Lewis continues to defend. He sits on that bottom, forces the 2 fighting for second to kind of fight each other and not be focused on him as much. As it looks like he's going to try and help the 42 of Han, then slide up to the 4 of Rainey. Rainey's going to try and clear down. Oh, cuts off Han's nose. So Lucas Lewis is going to come out of turn 4. As looks like Rainey actually gets loose once again. Lucas Lewis will finish stage 1 in first and will win another, well, I don't know if he says another. We'll win a stage here at Kansas. I will say the biggest thing here is the fact that we saw that lunge from Rainey with 2 to go. That, to me, is the biggest. I'm trying to find it. If I can find it. It's right here. I think it's a lap after this. Yeah, it's a bit later than this. Oh, sorry, I'm way early. Okay, it's around here. It's this lunge here that I'm a little surprised it didn't turn the 11 car. Because you see Rainey does get into the quarter panel here. Like, he gets into him right there, and Lewis just holds on to it. And then Rainey hits the wall, and that kind of is what ruined his run there. And then you see Han kind of dive down to the bottom and force the issue, so... I don't know how I feel about that decision from Rainey. I mean, obviously, he's trying to get that stage win. But, you know, at what cost? Because he did almost take out the 11, so... I don't think that would be viewed too lightly by race control. So Klotz in the 48 is going to get his lap back. Looks like Parker's going to take a wave around here. At least for now. So we'll see what he chooses to do. As he's really just kind of been stuck. And I think the 9 of Parker will still just take fuel just to be safe. I think if he saves enough, he can definitely make it to the end. But it really is just a matter of making sure you actually can make it to the end, so... This looks like Corey Rainey is going to win the race off the pit road there. Jumped 2 positions. He jumped Lewis and Hahn. Actually, he might have gotten a speeding penalty as Lewis goes by. Hahn will go by as well. I think Corey Rainey got a speeding penalty. Obviously, it would have been on exit because... Let's take a look here. So he sees some of these cars coming out. Yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit there. It looks like he's just on the gas. Maybe a little bit too long. As you can see him right here start to drop back. So I do think Rainey in the 4 after such a good first stage. Yeah, he has that speeding penalty. You can see him continuing to fall back, so big deal for that 4 car is it looks like the 9 of Parker is going to choose to take the wave around. Now, he doesn't think you can make it on fuel, but I think you can now. So don't know how I feel about that decision by the 9 of Jordan Parker. So Lucas Lewis is going to inherit the race lead once again after Corey Rainey got a black flag for speeding. I'm trying to see if there's a thing that tells me. Not seeing one. I'm not seeing where there's a penalty there, but obviously Rainey did get one. And Sidden and Mullen actually went a lap down, I think, in the pit cycle, so I don't know what happened there. I can take a look at the 4 Rainey. Yeah, so he is behind these lap cars, so that is a speeding penalty. So Lucas Lewis actually is our first driver to choose the top slide today, so an interesting move from Lewis. Looks like maybe he's going to try and get that jump and then clear the bottom. But if that 42 gets a good jump on him, that could mean problems for the 11 of Lewis. So we will have to see what happens here on this restart. The first restart, and hopefully the only restart, of stage 2. So, Joey Beam back in the top 5 after that wall contact we saw looked pretty heavy. Probably with 15-20 to go in stage 1. So we'll see what he's able to do here. Lucas Lewis going to go into the restart zone. Looks like he's going to go in the middle. He is going to get a good jump here on that 42. So we'll see what he chooses to do. I think it's, yeah, you'll see him try and clear down to the bottom. Just kind of maximize his corners. You see that 41 of Beam actually slid up into that 51 of S, so interesting to see there as he continues to slide up and he's going to hook himself off the 51's nose. The 55 of Burns gets into the back of the 51, and that is not the first time we've seen the 41 of Beam get into somebody or just clear himself off of somebody, as he's actually going to slide up into the 77 as well. And he's going to go through the grass. Maybe some damage there. Not entirely sure what's going on there with 41 of Beam, but we're going to go back up to the lead here. Definitely an interesting restart. Joey Beam continuing to lose position. I do think he has to go on pit road. I think it's some kind of major damage here. As we see Hess also struggling after that, possibly. I think Hess's biggest issue is when the right front kind of drove itself back into that wall on the outside. So pole sitter ran really good in stage 1. I think had an incident there, he got stuck on that wall, then couldn't really make up the ground, and now he's got someone cleared across his nose. So Once again, just a really unlucky day for Caleb Hess for like the 5th race in a row, so we will have to see. This looks like Callahan's gotten back past that. The 9 Parker's actually racing in 3rd position on track, but he's 8 laps down. As we actually see the 42 get in the wall, the 77 and the 42 are actively fighting for 3rd position, but the 9 Parker is... Oh, the 77 and the 42 go around. Oh, and the 14 just drives through that 77 car. I saw that out of the corner of my eye. We'll take a look here. Actually, we'll get fancy. We'll do slow-mo. So it looks like that 24 of France sends it into the inside of the 77 like last minute. Hits the apron. The 77 is still coming down, and it hooks that 77 up. Catches the 42. Looks like he's also going to... Yeah, catches the 8 of Morton. And then... speed it back up, and the 14 of Ward just right here nails him. So likely a pretty avoidable wreck there. So Lewis keeps the lead. 40 laps from the end of the stage. I think you might see some of these guys start to pit here. So if you pit now, you will make it on fuel. Actually, it looks like the 51 of Hess is out. Oh, his engine blew. So the 51 of Hess is done for tonight. Beam still in pit road with damage. Ward could have major damage after running to the front end of that 77 at McWilliams. McWilliams obviously going to have major damage. I believe the 8 of Morton. 24 of France. Doesn't really have any damage. Just the only thing I can think of is if he got some damage from tagging to 77, but I mean, in my opinion, it was a desperate move. I don't think that move should have been made. It just seemed more like a late dive bomb than anything, so. As it looks like Corey Rainey's penalty from earlier was a glitch. He did not speed on that last pit cycle, which I believe, because it didn't look like he was going faster than was allowed, so. Our racing will do that sometimes. It's weird. I've had it penalize me for unsafe pit exit while I was still in my pit box. So it gets you in interesting ways sometimes. As we see Lewis once again choose the outside. Rainey's already gotten all the way back up to 3rd. So 10 cars right now in the lead lap. Actually showing the 8 of Morton as out, the 14 of War is out, the 41 of Beam is out, so a lot of cars taken out in that accident. Obviously Beam was kind of on his own, Hess blew up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see McWilliams out as well. So some major repercussions, or whatever the word is, for that accident here. As the 11 of Lewis once again is going to take us into the restart zone here. 24 of France not really maintaining the gap, so actually a poor start maybe from that 24. As you see the 11 of Lewis try and get clear once again. He's going to do it here. As the 11, 18, 4 are all single file. The 24 of France trying to make that gap up. As you see the 18 dive under the 11. The 4 sitting behind him. And And David Callahan's going to take over the race lead here at Kansas. This looks like the 42 and the 24 getting into it. They're fighting side by side for that 4th position. We're going to go ahead and look at that for a little bit because that's looking pretty heated. The 24 is actually going to drive down into that 42. Oh, the 42 is just going to get into the side of him. It's going to hit the 48. Oh, and the 24 is going to spin. And the caution is going to be thrown. As much as people are going to get on Han for that, I can't blame him. The 24 was turning down into him on the backstretch. Looks like this looks like he got into 2 of his teammates as well. So this actually started coming out of 4 the lap prior. So this started really like back here with the 42 of Han. So you see Han's in the 24. So Han goes for a move possibly. And Han goes for a move under. And the 24 just pins him there. And there's no contact there. So Han stays on the bottom. Once again, no contact, no contact. The 24 goes up, holds the wheel down, and then turns down into the 42. And then we see the 42 get close. Hits the 48. Then looks like the 5 catches him. A little bit of netcode there. You have to almost wonder if some of that was for the wreck prior, that where the 24 kind of dove in and it took out. It took out one of Han's teammates in the 14. So I want to make sure. It actually looks like the 24 is not happy here. I want to make sure he's not in drive through the field. Nope, looks like he stayed put there. So we're gonna go back live. Once again, another short run there. I believe it's about 2 laps, 3 laps, 2.5, something like that. So Tannerson's gonna get his lap back. He'll be the 11th car in lead lap. Then you have 3 laps till the 48 of Klotz. He'll get at least one of those back because of the stage break. Jordan Parker right now, kind of everything he's getting is consolation at this point. He's 8 laps down. I don't think realistically you're able to make that back. So as of right now, I think the 96 of Sidden actually goes another lap down. He just got the free pass and goes a lap down again. Wow. Let's see, the 24 of France goes on to pit road here. So it looks like Klotz will not get his lap back under the stage caution, as Sidden is now back to 1 lap down. Maybe some damage from that earlier wreck that he's still trying to fix, as you actually see him go back on pit road again. So interesting stuff here. While I'm thinking about it, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the points. Corey Rainey, David Callahan, Dave Stinson all locked in on due to wins. Obviously, Tannerson did win last week at Auto Club, but since he's a part-time driver, he is not in the playoffs. Lucas Lewis is your regular season points leader, so he's the first driver in the playoffs on points. Then you have the 88 of Mason, the 9 of Parker, the 22 of John Deeds, who did not make it tonight, the 5 of Christian Mullen, the 42 of Joshua Hahn, 28 of Kenneth Colson, the 99 of Trenton Sidden, the 51 of Caleb Hess, the 64 of Thomas Adams, the 41 of Joey Beam, the 3 of Carden Hansen, and the 77 of Corey McWilliams. And John Lewis did not make it tonight. He is 8 points out. Jordan Naughton was suspended for tonight's race. Dale DPV, once again, is not here. Taylor Naughton did not make it tonight, and Gage Burns is 24 points out. So Gage really trying to make some time up on that cut line. With McWilliams being 5 laps down, essentially every position right now for Gage is an extra point, especially in these stages. I don't recall where Gage finished in stage 1, if I'm being totally honest. But, you know, that's extra points. Actually, he might have finished behind McWilliams, because McWilliams, I think, finished 6th or so in the stage. So Burns really kind of has to make some of those points up, and with McWilliams being 5 laps down and 13th, it's, you know, every position, even if he's 10th, you know, that's another point gained on McWilliams. As long as Gage stays in the lead lap right now, he's getting points on McWilliams. So that's really what he needs to do, is maximize those points. Obviously, he is still 24 points under the cut line, but if he has a few good races, he can easily get over it. As some of these people, some of these drivers you see will have a hot streak and then will have a long time they're not doing great. I think Gage kind of is consistently mid-pack. I don't think there's a time where he's always running up front or always running in the back. I think he's pretty consistent, and he has his moments every race. He also has his bad moments. Callahan's going to shoot off here. Looks like Lewis is trying to pin him and try and get that jump, and he's not able to. As Callahan, I think he's going to get clear here going towards 1. Actually, no, Lewis is going to pull back up alongside, so Lewis is going to go back to the bottom here. And he's going to maybe slide up a little bit. He's trying to get clear of that 18. As he's not going to be able to, so Callahan's going to have the momentum on the top side. Looks like Rainey's going to look maybe for a move. No, he'll decide not to go for it. Lewis going to dive once again back down to the bottom. The biggest thing right now between these Toyota drivers is making sure that Toyota stays up front. I think they both want it to be them, but at the end of the day, as long as the Toyota wins, it's better for that entire group. So, you know, you don't want to fight too hard and give it away to the 4 of Rainey, the 42 Honda. We actually see Honda get really loose in the back there, fighting with the 4 of Rainey. See, Burns actually dives low on Lucas Lewis on the bottom here. We'll see what he's able to do. Looks like he might try and clear up here. He will. So Gage Burns goes to P2. Lucas Lewis still in P3. Looks like he might go for a move on that 55 car. He chooses not to. He's going to dive to the bottom here. Gage Burns on the bottom gets a massive run on that 18 car. See what he's able to do. Looking to side draft the 18 of Callahan. He's going to go for the lead here into 3. Lewis going to follow on that bottom side. Looks like Gage Burns is actually going to clear and slide up in front of that 18 of Callahan. Lewis going to try and do the same move. Looks like he's not able to get clear, but he will take second for now. Gage Burns, I think, leads his first laps of maybe the season, but definitely his first laps of tonight. Lucas Lewis, David Callahan battling it out for second. Corey Rainey, Joshua Hahn, 2 Fords battling it out for 4th. You see Callahan behind Burns, Lewis behind Callahan, Hahn behind Lewis. Hahn looks inside of Lewis. Rainey behind Hahn. You see the 42 maybe trying to slide up behind that 11 car, trying to generate that run again. No, he'll go all the way down to the bottom of that apron. Looks like Callahan's going to look for another run on the 55, wants that lead back. Lewis is going to follow the 18 of Callahan. So Lewis is going to try and slide up in front of the 55. He will make it work. That 19 you can see in the background of Selby is in 6th, looking for 5th on Corey Rainey. Callahan decides to stay on the top side. Lewis to the bottom. I think that top side is starting to get a little bit better as you see the sun set here. Lewis lost this race last year by 6 thousandths of a second, so he wants to win it this time just to kind of make up for it. I think it's highly unlikely you see Parker go back-to-back. So we're going to have a new winner here at Kansas tonight. David Callahan continues to lead. Lucas Lewis goes to the bottom. Lewis going to go up, almost hits the 18 of Callahan. Worried me for a second. I thought he was about to get hooked. You see Lewis dive to the bottom once again. Hahn has moved up into 3rd. Gage Burns still stuck on that top side. Rainey looking to the inside of Burns. You have 4 Toyotas lined up on the top. You got Lewis, Callahan, Burns, and Selby. But you see Lewis go down to the bottom. You see Callahan choose to stay on top. I think Callahan likes kind of keeping that momentum going up top, as we see him do it pretty commonly. I think it's relatively rare that you're seeing him go low right now. As Callahan's going to go to the middle, looks like he might stay there. Yeah, he doesn't even diamond back down like Rainey was earlier. So Hahn actually is able to clear up on Gage Burns. See Jordan Parker in the 9 getting loose in the back. Hahn's going to look for a dive on that 18. I don't think it's going to work, as the 18 is going to have so much momentum here. To see what happens down the front stretch. Hahn forced to pull the wheel further to make sure he doesn't slide up into that 18 car, but it looks like he's going to have a run by cutting that entire apron. So Joshua Hahn looks like he's going to move into second, still pulling the 4 of Rainey behind him. So he's going to try and clear that 18. I don't know if he'll get there, but he does eventually. So now Rainey looking for a move on the 18 of Callahan. Hahn looking to get a run on the 11 of Lewis here. So Rainey's going to slide up, try and get clear of Callahan. He's not able to yet. They'll all dive back down to the apron. Looks like Rainey will be able to clear Callahan coming out of 2 this time. Actually, Rainey may be looking for a move on the 42 of Hahn there. It's going to hurt Rainey when it comes to that battle with the 18, as the 18 is going to have that momentum and the draft of the 42. As it looks like the 18 is going to clear the 4 for now, so the 4 is going to look for another lunge down the bottom. 18 getting dangerously close to the wall. Looks like he had to let off the gas. As you see Lewis clear all the way to the bottom, trying to block that 42 car from getting by him. Still 22 to go in the stage. Lewis continues to lead laps. Rainey and Hahn trying to chase him down, 2 Fords together. Then you have the Toyota of Callahan, the Chevy of Trent Sidden, the lap car in the 96 of Tanner Sidden, and then you have the 19 of Selby in his Toyota a little bit further back. So it looks like a 5-car battle for the win right now, or for the stage win right now. As you see the 19 and the 5. Actually, the 19 is... That's another lap car behind the 19 there. Maybe the 48 of Klotz, so... Yeah, realistically, about a 5-car battle right now for the stage win. With 21 to go. Lucas Lewis continuing to lead. Hahn just sitting behind him. Looks like Rainey's dropped off of Hahn a little bit. So we're just kind of waiting to see what happens here with this lead pack. Oh, as Rainey gets in the wall again, you see Selby getting the wall as well in the back. Hahn maybe looking for a move on the outside of Lewis. This is interesting. I don't think we've seen an outside move yet tonight. Looks like Lewis is going to drive it deep into turn 1. Slide up out of turn 2. He's still going to stay ahead of the 42 of Hahn. 18 of Callahan maybe looking for another move on the 4 of Rainey. Going to try that outside as well. Rainey going to follow Lewis on the bottom. Try and get by the 42 of Callahan. We'll see if he's able to clear here. It seems like he is. And Rainey moves into second. Now Rainey may be looking for a move on the top side of Lucas Lewis. Don't think it's going to work. We'll see what Hahn's able to do here. Okay, Rainey might... Every time I see that car on the top come out of 2 in this camera angle, I think they're losing it. See, Rainey actually drives deep. Looks like Lucas actually checks up, forces the 4 to kind of slow down and respect Lucas. The 4 is going to drive all the way up to him. Maybe Lucas almost got in the wall. I'm not sure. Is Lucas going to lead the lap? But he's going to be on the bottom of 3 wide here. Slide up. Not able to. He's pinned on the bottom. I think he's going to have to be forced to slide behind the 4 if Hahn doesn't fill that spot first. He's going to try and slide up. Gets behind the 4. Hahn not happy with that, I don't believe. Hahn going to dive below the 11. Callahan looks like he goes to follow. Isn't able to get that car to turn in. So Lewis falls all the way to 3rd. Is going to slide down behind Hahn. Blocking the 18 of Callahan. So 2 Fords lead the race right now. As we see Lucas trying to get that position back on. Ooh, Lucas goes deep into 1. Almost gets to the back bumper of that 42 car. As Callahan looks like he's going to go for a move on that 11 car now here on turn 3. So Rainey on the top, Hahn on the bottom, then Lewis on the top and Callahan on the bottom. Looks like Callahan's going to get this position by the time they get to turn 1. Actually, Lewis does have a little bit of help behind him in the Sidden brothers, but the 96 of Sidden and the 11 of Lewis... Well, the 96 of Sidden doesn't really like that 11. As the 18 and the 11 are going to get together, they hit doors. Neither of them really get loose, but you did see the contact there as the 11 is going to slide back into 3rd place. Coming to 15 to go on the stage. Rainey still on the top side. Hahn still on the bottom. Looks like Hahn might try and clear this 4 here out of turn 4. As Hahn's going to lead this lap once again. Hahn's going to clear all the way up into turn 1. Rainey's going to dive it deep here. So is Lucas Lewis. Lewis able to hold it on the line better than Rainey. So we'll see what Lewis does here on the backstretch. See him dive low on that 4 of Rainey. So Rainey was making the top side work for a little bit, but I think it's starting to hurt him a little bit now. He's going to benefit on the front stretch as he's going to have the momentum, but it really isn't working for him in 1 and 2 right now. But Lewis also needs to get a stronger run if he wants to do anything. So you actually see Callahan looking for a move on the top of Lewis. Looks like that's not going to work. As Lewis will now slide up as Rainey gets loose, hits the 42 of Callahan. They're both loose. Oh, they all save it. As Lewis is forced to check up, they're going to slide up the track. No contact yet for anybody. As Rainey gets loose, almost wrecks the 42 and the other leaders. And they're all able to save it here. So Sidden in the 99 now is second behind the 42 of Hahn. Hahn really got lucky because Lewis could have kept his foot in the gas going into the corner. And it could have hooked Hahn into the wall, but I think Lewis really is trying to be a little bit cleaner here. So we'll have to see what he's able to do here. So the two Sidden brothers sitting behind the 42 of Hahn. The 96 is 1 lap down. If the 96 is able to pass the 42... actually, we see Rainey pit. Rainey might have too much damage. So that might put Tanner Sidden back in the stage points, but as a part-time driver, it doesn't matter all that much. As the 11 of Lewis is kind of caught back up to this pack, I don't know if Callahan will be able to make it up. I think Callahan lost too much time in that scuffle. As Rainey remains on pit road. You see Trent Sidden actually look for a move on the 42 of Hahn. Still looking to the bottom, unable to make that move work. We'll see the 11 and the 96 together once again. We'll see if anything happens here. Like I said, the 96 not exactly fond of that 11 car, so if anything's going to happen, it would happen now. As this is Sidden's last chance to make a statement really before his next race in December. As Lewis looks for a move on the bottom of the 96, he will clear that 96 of Tanner Sidden and go back to this battle for the lead. You see Lewis is able to just send it in a little bit deeper than this 99 car. He might actually get under the 99 of Sidden here. Follow the 42 onto the apron. As we are 9 to go in the final, not the final stage, in stage 2. Lucas Lewis clears for second. Looking on the 42 of Hahn. Rainey still on pit road. 11 looking low on the 42. He's going to get there. We'll see what he's able to do. Hahn's going to have a bit of that momentum on the top, so it looks like Hahn's likely going to lead this lap, coming to 8 to go on the stage. Lewis is there. See Lewis dive back to the bottom. Hahn stuck in the middle. Lewis trying desperately to get that run. As we see McWilliams pull off. Hopefully that doesn't pull out a caution. So McWilliams looks like he's going to be done. Lewis is going to try and slide up in front of Hahn here. I think he's clear. He will be. He'll dive down to the apron now. 7 to go on the stage. He's going to slide up on Hahn. I don't think he was clear. He's going to try and pull away here. I do think Lewis does have the best car tonight. I think it's between him and Hahn now that Rainey's had issues. Rainey's listed as 4 laps down. McWilliams is out of this race, will be credited with P14. Hahn looking back to the bottom of the 11 of Lewis. Coming to lap 95. Is that the 51 of... Oh no, it's the 20 of Parsons that they're coming up on. The 11 of Lewis trying to hold it on the outside. He's going to go down. Almost hit the front nose of the 42. Looks like he's trying to pin him behind the 20 car. Good awareness from the 11 to try and pin that 42 under that lap car there. You see Lewis continuing to pin that 42 to that white line. It's going to work out better for that 11 car. You see Lewis is going to lead Lap 95. 5 to go in the second stage. Still side by side for the lead. Callahan has made it back up to this pack. As Lewis is barely going to clear down on the 42 there. See Callahan there, 4th in line behind the lap car of the 96, Tanner Sidden. Sidden right now, I think, is just there to kind of make the 11's life a little bit harder. As we see the 42 maybe try and dive to the inside. It's going to make the 11 a little bit loose. You see the 11 wiggle there a little bit on the exit. And now the 18 and the 42 are going to get to battling. The 18 is able to clear the 42. Looks like the 42 might have moved the 18 up the track there. Either that or Callahan just went in too hard. Did hear some tire screeching. I don't know. I do want to check this. Now that I've heard it, I do want to know if... Okay, I think I'm just hearing things. So we come back, 18, still behind the 42, 3 to go in the stage, Lewis still leading Han, Han still leading Callahan, Callahan still leading Sidden. So we're going to go to Han, stuck in the middle, between two Toyotas, getting a run on the 11 of Lewis. 2 to go in the stage, we'll see what Han is able to do here. He's going to look low into 1, Lewis is going to try and block it, he's not able to. Lewis is going to pinch Han down. Lewis actually going to blink a little bit here. Going to pinch Han down. Is going to allow him to kind of keep that momentum on the top. Han's going to be able to make another run here. He's going to have that draft. Let's try that alternate line in 3 and 4. Callahan is back around the 99 of Sidden. So Callahan looking for a move on the 42 of Han. Looks like he's not going to be there. He's too far back. Han still behind Lewis. Lewis trying to defend. Oh, Han turns him. Han drives through him. Callahan dives under Han. It looks like Lucas Lewis is going to be able to run away with it once again after a late move from a Ford almost takes him out of this race. As Han's going to nail that outside wall coming out of 4 here. Lucas Lewis will win stages 1 and 2. Callahan 2nd. Joshua Han finishes 3rd. Don't know how people are going to feel about that move from Han here, as that was a little bit risky in my opinion. But Lucas Lewis, your points leader right now, like I said, finished 2nd in this race by 6 thousandths last season. Looking for a little bit of redemption. We're going to wait for Lucas Lewis to do his pit stop, and then we're going to go ahead and talk to him, because I forgot to last time. So Lucas Lewis will sweep the stages here at Kansas. We'll see if he can take the win tonight. It would be his first win it'd be his first win ever in this series. He did make the playoffs last year on points. It seems like he's on track to make the playoffs on points again this year, even if he's unable to win. But I think a win very much is in the books for Lucas Lewis if he can play his cards right. This looks like 4 tires for the 11 car. He's trying to beat Callahan up pit road. He's going to spin the tires. Eee! He's going to lose 2 spots because of that. We'll lose a spot to the 18 of Callahan, the 42 of Han. Also going to light the rears up for the next restart, so we'll have to see what happens here. So we're going to go ahead and drag up the 11 of Lucas Lewis. Lucas, this is Owen in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
So obviously, I meant to talk to you earlier. But you won both stages, so it's okay. Both stages at the end, you almost did get wrecked. So what's your take on both of those moves? First, the dive in 3 by Corey Rainey, and then the bump in 1 by Joshua Han.
I feel like I feel like Corey was more of an accident. That was more of a racing deal. I feel like Josh just kind of had enough of me blocking him and taking his arrow off, and he just bumped me in the corner. But I'm happy I was able to save it, because I did the same exact move last season to Jordan. So I'm happy, and I'm happy to get 2 stage points, and happy to be here right now.
So I guess the question that Jordan wants me to ask to make you mad, how do you do 6,000s better?
Well, you do 1,000s better in qualifying.
Okay, what about the other 5,000s?
You don't wreck, and you have a chance to win.
That's a good idea. Some of these people have not followed that idea yet.
Well, Jordan didn't.
I tell you what, man,
So
he has 0 luck.
Yeah.
It's like, that's 4 races in a row now that he's just gotten wrecked.
Yeah, I was going to let him buy. That's the sad part. I was going to let him buy, get a wave around, and the caution came out. And the turn 3, I was like, oh, well, never mind.
Alright, well, I take it y'all are 2 to green right now?
Yes, sir.
Alright, I am going to let you move back to your team BC. Good luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you later.
Alright, bye, Owen.
That was the 11 of Lucas Lewis, your Stage 1 and Stage 2 winner. I forgot to talk to him after Stage 1, because, yeah. I do see a message in the chat saying, can I join the league? There's a Discord link in the description of the stream. If you click that, you should be able to kind of navigate through all the Discord stuff, and you'll figure it out that way. If you're still here. So choose cone. It seems like Callahan did choose the top. Han chose the bottom. Lewis decided to follow Callahan. So obviously Lewis did lose 2 positions on the pit cycle. Had a really, honestly, poor pit exit. Spun the rear tires too much. Pretty much was sideways on pit road. That's how much he spun the rears. So we'll have to see what he does here on this restart. So 9 on the lead lap right now. Then you have Parsons 2 laps down. You have Klotz 3 laps down, Rainey 4, and Parker 5. So Rainey's kind of taking himself out of this race. Just seemed to be too aggressive at times. I think he was pushing a little wide. Obviously, he does have that win under his belt, so he can afford to do that. So, but I mean, that's the style that Rainey prefers, is to be able to go out and be aggressive. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. So we will see how that works, I guess, next week at Talladega. So David Callahan is going to lead us at the start of this final stage, and he's going to shoot late in the box, so he's going to get a really good jump on the 42 Callahan. And I guess the rest of the field as well. He's actually going to be able to clear here by the time we get to 1 without even a question, because Lewis is actually going to look to the outside of Han. So the 11 of Lucas Lewis looking to the outside of the 42 of Joshua Han, trying to get a run on that 18 of David Callahan. If Lewis times this run right, Lewis could go for the lead here before we even finish the first lap. So Lewis going to dive down on the 18 of Callahan in 3. I don't think he'll be able to clear here. See Lewis and Callahan. Lewis will lead the lap. So we'll see what Lucas Lewis is able to do here in 1 and 2. We actually hear some people in the wall. Han got turned. Han just got turned. It looks like that wasn't the only thing that just happened. I did hear some stuff in the back. I think it was the 24 of France, so we're going to go to that first. Oh, he just came up on his own teammate in the 5. Put himself in the 1. I think that caution came out, and that's when the 55 got the back of the 42. Maybe? Let's take a look here. So this is the inside of the 55 of Burns going into 1. So the caution is about to happen. He just gets in the back of Han, and Han just hooks a right. I mean, I don't think Han took the right on purpose, but that's what ended up happening. And let's take a look in Han's in-car. Looks like Han actually went for a massive ride there. Oh, he just kind of flicks it. Oh, he gets hit from behind. Looks like the 20 of Parsons caught him. So another big wreck tonight. Is it saying that Han crashed again? So Han jumped to the pits. Okay. Alright, let's go live. David Callahan will remain your race leader. Han is out of this race, so it's put Han out of this race. That's another position for Jordan Parker, so Parker will move up to 12th. I think Parsons is going to be in the pits for a while. He had some pretty gnarly front end damage, so that honestly might put Parker up to 11th. So Parker's about one more major wreck away from a top 10. And with, let's say realistically, I think there's about 2 or 3 cars that can run for this win right now, I think, on pace. Because in my opinion, I'm going to do a way too early race pick. I think Lewis has been the most consistent. Callahan can get up front, but he can't hold it for more than a few laps. I think Lewis has the most laps led tonight. Burns, he's really good on the short run, then you kind of see him fall off. Same with the 19 of Selby. Mullen is the same way. Sidden has been up there with the 11 and the 18. I think if he can get through traffic, he's going to be up there. The 24 of France has kind of been hit or miss. He's been involved in a few cautions. He was involved in that last one. The 96 of Sidden. I mean, he was up there in that battle at the end there, even if he was a lap car, so maybe 3 to 5 cars, I think, realistically, that can fight for this win. But I think it's really between the 2 Toyotas of Callahan and Lewis right now, unless the 99 of Sidden can steal it. I think those are the 3 best cars right now, at least, in my opinion. So we'll have to see what happens here. So David Callahan in that 18 car. He was in the 81 when he won Vegas. Obviously, the 18 and 19 became available. So he took his Toyota team and essentially turned it into Joe Gibbs. So he now owns the 18, the 19, and the 20. And then Tricon owns the 11, 15, 51, and 55. So those are your... I guess we had... How many Toyotas did we have in the field tonight? We had 6 Toyotas in the field tonight, I think. Out of 19, because I'm not really a driver, even though I'm listed in 20th. So it's not bad. It's like a third of the field. That's how it should be. So as David Callahan's going to lead this top line here, going to do the same thing, going to kind of try and pinch Lewis to the bottom. He'll shoot off. Looks like he will get clear once again, so Lewis might follow Callahan up. Looks like he'll stay in his line for now. So see what Lewis is able to do here. Actually, I might have heard someone in the wall again. Not that I can see. At least it's not a lead lap car, because I'm not seeing it on the timing board. There's Lewis behind the 18 of Callahan. Lewis goes all the way to the bottom. Looks like Gage Burns is going to follow Lewis down. 3 Toyotas. 1, 2, 3. Then you have the 99 of Sidden, who I was talking about earlier. The 5 of Mullen. The 19 of Selby. The 24 of France. All lead lap cars for the last 65 laps of this race. A longer run than we've had all night. You see the 11 of Lewis looking for the move on Callahan. Lewis wants the win. I think needs the win a lot more than Callahan thinks he needs it. Like I said, Lewis has never won in this series. Callahan won 3 weeks ago at Las Vegas. Burns never won in the series. Trent Sidden never won in the series. Christian Mullen never won in the series. And the only person I see here in the top, or the only person that has the lead lap cars that has won a race is the leader in David Callahan. So you see Sidden looking for a move maybe on the 11 of Lewis. He's going to dive all the way to the bottom here. The 99 Sidden is. He's actually going to go to the inside of Burns as well, try and get 2 positions in one corner. You see that? You can see that for Rainey, that chrome Jimmy John's machine starting to go up through the field. Obviously, Rainey 4 laps down, trying to get some of these laps back on pace. You see Lewis dive back down to the bottom, cover the 19 of Selby, the 99 of Sidden, trying to go around the 18 of Callahan. We also have to wonder how much tire saving is going to play a factor into this. If we can get a green flag run, which hopefully we do. We had one at Auto Club. If we can have a green flag run, there's a very good chance that, Trent Sidden I don't think he's really saving his stuff up right now, and I think that is going to hurt him later. So we'll have to see what happens with that. I think really you're going to see who's the best at saving. I think it's Callahan. I think it's Lewis. I think it's... I mean, I can tell you who's not. So Callahan and Lewis, I think, are going to be the best at saving. I don't think Burns is going to be incredible when it comes to saving tire. I know the 5 is usually pretty aggressive, so I don't think that tire will last. I can't say anything about the 99 or the 19. I haven't seen the 19 race. I haven't seen the 24 race. The 99 obviously had that weird pit strategy in Auto Club that didn't work out, so I can't say a lot about that either. So, but he is still fighting for the lead on Callahan. So, coming to 60 laps to go. To the inside of Callahan. He will clear for the lead. Callahan looking low. Trent Sidden is going to block that. We'll have to see how aggressive Callahan gets, knowing that there's still so much left in this race. You see Gage actually make a deep dive down ahead of the 11, inside of the 18. You see the 11 slide up in front of the 4 of Rainey, behind the 18 of Callahan. Looks like he's committed to that top side. As I say that, he's probably going to dive. Yeah, now he's going to dive low. I think Lucas just listens to the stream to prove me wrong sometimes. Is Rainey's actually going to look for a move on Lucas. So Rainey right now, not for position. He is fighting to get his laps back right now. I think that's his #1 priority. Really what Rainey needs is he needs a few cautions. Because he's not going to get it on free pass right now for at least 3. So you see the 18 of Callahan already's re-cleared the 99 of Sidden. You see Burns trying to follow. Lucas following this entire group of 3. Burns kind of forcing Trenton up the track just by not taking the apron. That's totally a choice that he's allowed to make. You see the 4 of Rainey kind of backs off. I don't know if he was told to do so or not. See Lewis maybe looking for a move on the 55 Burns here. Looks like Callahan might be... I feel like Callahan might be running the top to try and save tire, but I'm not entirely sure. I feel like it's a little bit early in this run to start moving to that top side. See Callahan still stay on that top side. You see Lewis dive to the bottom of Burns. Trenton dive to the bottom of Callahan. Callahan's going to get that momentum down the back. He'll retake the lead for now. He won't clear this 99, but he will have a nose ahead. You see Lewis dive back down to the bottom once again on Burns. Likely will clear here out of 4. See Sidden clears Callahan. Lewis clears Burns. So looks like Chevy, Toyota, 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 Chevy, 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 Ford. Chevy, Ford, Toyota, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Ford, Chevy, Ford. A lot of Fords, a lot of Chevys, a lot of Toyota. Oh, we see the 11 and the 18 make contact. Down the back stretch, I think one just wanted to go down, one just wanted to go up. It wasn't major contact, but we do see the 11 get pretty... You did see a big wiggle out of the 11, so... You have to wonder what that'll do to the 11's tires, and if he's pushing too hard right now for these positions. 11 of Lewis to the inside of the 18 of Callahan. The 99 of Trent Sidden starting to run away a little bit. You have to wonder if he's running up his tires to try and do so. You see Lewis slot behind the 99 and ahead of the 18. Lewis now trying to chase the 99 of Sidden. The 19 of Selby back into this fight once again. Behind his teammate and team owner in the 18. Lewis gained about a 10th on Sidden ever since clearing Callahan. So I think Lewis is going to be able to make the move on Sidden here. It's just a matter of when he does and how he does. So maybe a battle here for E4. Never mind. We're going to go back up here to the chase for the lead right now. Lucas Lewis still trying to chase down the 99 of Sidden. Callahan trying to follow them both. Callahan's still kind of running that top side. I think Callahan's trying to go maybe a bit more on tire. I think he wants that advantage close to the end of this run. Like we said, fuel's going to last about 40, so we may see people pitting in as soon as about 133, I think, is the earliest you'll see anybody pit to a point where they can make it on fuel, unless they're saving a ton. But I think realistically your best bet is to pit about 137, 140 would be my guess. We see Lewis make the move on Sidden. Lewis is going to slide up maybe. Going to try and get around the 99. He's not going to be able to. He's going to side draft the 99 down the backstretch. Going to look for another move in 3. Once again to the bottom of the track. Trying to power through. See if he's able to off of 4. Doesn't look like he is, but he will have the shorter line on the front stretch, as he will clear the 99 of Sidden going into 1. So Lucas Lewis once again retakes the lead of this race on lap 125. We're going to have 50 to go at the conclusion of this lap. So Lucas essentially needs to make it about 10 or so laps, and then he's 1 fuel run away from maybe having his first ever NARAS Cup Series win. Lewis continuing to run the bottom. We haven't really seen him move off of the bottom all day, unless he was going for a move on the top. So Lucas Lewis very much a bottom feeder in today's race. Looks like Selby and Burns beginning to fall off. Tire wear starting to be felt by those two. Callahan, like I said, I think just saving tire, trying to make sure that he's faster when it gets to about 130, 135 for the pit cycles. Sidden to the inside of Lewis. Looks like Sidden likely will get clear by the time they get to turn 1. He will slide about halfway up the track, then diamond down to the bottom. Lewis going to dive down, follow Sidden through the corner. Wonder how much time Callahan's going to make up here. Looks like not a ton. Maybe that outside line is starting to fail on him a little bit. There is such thing as going to that side too early. It looks like the 19 of Selby actually did lose that position to Gage Burns. I don't know if he caught the wall or if Burns just made the move. This looks like the 99 of Sidden has cleared the 11 of Lewis. Looks like Lewis is going to look for another move, trying to retake the lead back again. So I think he's going to be forced to slide behind the 99 of Sidden. Looks like he chooses not to. He's going to still go for that move into 3. Once again, I'm going to try and power through. Looks like Sidden's just going to let him have it. No point pushing the tires here for the 99. The 11's going to slide up, clear the 99, go back onto this apron. Lead lap 128. So Lewis, Sidden, Callahan all together. Then Burns, Selby fighting for 4th. Mullen in no man's land in 6th. Then the 24 of France in 7th. Then you have Tanner Sidden a lap down. Klotz in 9th, 2 laps down, and Corey Rainey in 10th, 4 laps down. We do actually see the 9 of Parker has moved up to 11th. Parsons still on pit road. Everyone else out of the race due to, I guess, major accidents. And then 20th place doesn't actually exist. You don't have to look at that one. Callahan actually might be looking for a move here on the inside of the 99. Could be back to a Toyota 1-2 here. As Callahan, as Sidden's tires might actually be fading here. You're seeing him start to fall off the 11 of Lewis. Getting closer and closer to this pit cycle, so it looks like Sidden may be forced once again to try an early pit stop because he just doesn't have the advantage on these tires anymore. You have a Toyota 1-2, then you have a Toyota 1-2-4-5, and then Caleb Hess in 16th. Or sorry, Parsons in 13th and Hess in 16th. So Toyota doing pretty good tonight. Lewis continuing to kind of run away from Callahan. So we'll have to see. If this race goes green, I think it falls into the hands of the 11, without a doubt. I think as long as he just plays off the strategy of the 18, kind of keeps that gap up, I think he can get it up to probably about a second. If he can just continue to keep that gap, I think the 11 of Lewis is a very good shot to go out and win this race. We will have to see as we continue to watch these two battle. No other battles really that I'm seeing over here. I mean, maybe Sidden and Rainey. No. Those are both lap cars. Everyone else is out. Oh, Jordan Parker back on pit road. Looks like he might try and go the distance here. Just see Sidden and Callahan continuing to battle. The one thing Lewis doesn't want to see right here right now is a caution. Although it might honestly be what he wants to see, because he seems to be the best here on this run. Because every time we start a run, you see the 55 and the 19, they stay with them early, and they fall off. The 5 falls off probably the quickest of anybody, and then I think the 24 does have some damage. So, Lewis might easily be in the best position right now to win this race. Although we do see Callahan continuing to make up time on the 11 of Lewis. He's gotten it down to 3/10. Well, it was up to 4/10 to 4.5 earlier. See Sidden continuing to fall back. I think those tires are starting to finally bite him a little bit. He's not falling back like a rock, but he is continuing to lose time. See Burns 3 seconds back, Selby about 5 seconds back, then Mullen 8 seconds, and France 20 seconds. So really just these top 3 fighting for the win. I think really it's the top 2 right now, just based on tires and lap times and everything. So we're going to go ahead and hide this here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the battle box. You can see Lewis and Callahan. I can see... Okay, I can't do that. I'd love to see that. So this is the battle right now for first. So we're going to take a look here. We're actually seeing the 99 of Sin start to catch back up. Maybe his tires have cooled off a little bit. That means he gets to get added to the battle box. So Lewis about 2/10 ahead of Callahan. Sin about 2/10 back. I think at any time now if you pit, you're going to be within the pit window. It looks like Parker is going to be done. He's still on pit road. I think really what Lewis wants to do is he wants to make sure he doesn't pull the Trent Sidden from last week, pit too early and get absolutely run over at the end, because I think that's going to be the biggest issues. Tanner Sidden is on pit road. He has decided to pit this time. You see Callahan actually make the move on Lewis here. Lewis looks like he wants to slide behind that 18 car. So now the question is, when do you time your pit stop? I think realistically it's only a battle between these 3. The best strategy between these 3, if it goes green, is going to be the reason you win this race. Sidden's still on pit road, actually. As we go back to the battle here, Lewis has kind of gotten clear of Callahan once again. See Lewis blinking a little bit. Callahan still 2/10 back. Callahan trying to chase that 11. You saw the 11 actually caught the apron there. We'll have to see what the 18's able to do. You might see him make a move here. The 11's going to cover low. The 11 made a good move to cover low there. Was able to kind of cover up for his mistake in 1 and 2. See Parker back out. 16 laps down in P11. Lewis looking maybe to block the 18 of Callahan down the backstretch. Callahan looking for a move down the inside. Callahan maybe sliding up, almost caught the 11 of Lucas Lewis. Callahan's going to go into pit road. Callahan's going to pit road. Sidden on the pit road with him. Sidden may... They're both able to make it on the pit road safely. The question now is when the 11 of Lucas Lewis pits in. It looks like he might be this time or next time by. See Lucas Lewis once again dive to the bottom. We'll have to see if he pits here. Looks like he is slowing down. Lucas Lewis on the pit road this time. So Lewis on pit road. We're looking right now to see what happens with Callahan. Callahan's on a pit road. He gained time. He gained a lot of time on Sidden, actually. Lucas Lewis. Going down to his pit stall. Just has to stay ahead or within the same area as David Callahan. Sidden's kind of lost this pack a little bit. He's all the way back here. Callahan going into 3. Lewis once again spinning the tires out of the pit box. There goes Rainey. Here goes Callahan on the top. Callahan has jumped Lewis by a mile. There goes Sidden. So Lucas Lewis has lost the lead in the pit cycle. He doesn't have the draft of the cars ahead. Steven Selby, in his series debut, is leading laps right now in pit strategy. He's the only car, I believe, right now that hasn't pit in. So once he pits, it'll have Callahan in the lead. So Callahan realistically is the net leader right now. Coming to 30 to go here. The gap I'm seeing right now has Sidden about 7/10 back from Callahan. And then there's 3 seconds from Callahan to Lewis. So Lewis lost a lot of time in the pit cycle. I think it was mostly on pit entry. Maybe a little bit on the actual pit exit. Once again, I think spinning the tires really did hurt that 11 car. It looks like the 19 may be going on a pit road this time. Selby staying to the bottom of the racetrack. He will go on to pit road this time by. So the 19 is on the pit road, which means David Callahan is back in the race lead. Callahan, Sidden, 1-2. Lucas, too far back to do anything. Lucas now needs the caution. The caution he didn't want earlier is now the caution that would save his race. Callahan and Sidden, hoping the race goes green. I think this is where the caution would come from, if not on pit exit from Selby. Callahan passes Selby in the pit cycle. Lewis passes Selby in the pit cycle. Burns lost a ton of time on the pit cycle. He's 10 seconds back now from the leaders. So Callahan had a much better pit cycle. But I think Sidden may have burned his stuff to get back up to Callahan. Either that or the draft effect really is that important in these cars. Lewis not gaining the time he needs to. So really just a battle between these top two right now. As Lewis is too far back. So it's gone from a 3-car battle to a 2-car battle now. As we try to see who will win this race. Lap 149. Getting closer and closer to 25 to go. Anyone now can make it on fuel. So pretty much everyone who's pit, there's no more required pits. I think if you see a caution, I think you see everyone pit. But as of right now, there's no need. Looks like there were 7 tire sets given, so I'm trying to think of how many times these guys have pitted. It's been a few times. They might have 1 or 2 sets remaining, I think. So we'll have to see what happens here. Callahan maybe starting to pull away from Sidden a little bit. Once again, those tires starting to bite that 99. Coming to 25 to go. David Callahan leads 150. Lewis still about 4 seconds back. Unable to do much of anything. And realistically, if you're going to see anything happen, it's going to be between the 5 and the 19. These two are the closest together. And that's saying something because the 19 is all the way back here. So, I don't really know. And then you have the 20. Oh, the 24. I don't know what happened there. Maybe something with the 9. The 55 might have gotten to the 24. Maybe just a bad turn for that 24 car. Kind of puts the 9 up towards that wall. So David Callahan still leading. Not leaving, you're not allowed to leave. Trent Siddon still behind. Lewis did gain quite a bit of time there. He gained about 4/10 since we last saw. The big thing right now is I'm looking at pit stops. Except for I clicked the wrong thing for that. So. Oh wait, hang on, I can just see that. So Callahan still has at least 2 sets remaining. Siddon has at least 1. Lewis has at least 2. So, if there's a caution now, you could take tires, and then if there's another caution, a lot of these guys could still take another set. So, I think no matter what happens, next caution, you see everyone pit for tires. I think the tire advantage is too important. You're actually seeing Lucas make up a ton of time here. You have to wonder if maybe the 81 and 99 are required to save. I don't know why Lewis would be making up so much time. It's right in the in-car of the 81 here. I mean, I don't really see him saving at all. I just think Lewis is that much faster right now. I mean, Burns is gaining, Selby's gaining. Well, actually, Selby's not gaining. Burns is gaining. Mullen is kind of holding his own right now until those tires fall off. Right now, what you want to watch, though, is the 11 of Lewis. He's starting to make up some ground on the leaders. He's got to make up over a 10th a lap. I think he's able to do it, especially once he gets to the draft. So it's really just a matter of what this 11 car is able to do. We go back to the leaders. David Callahan, Trenton Siddon, the M&Ms versus the Busch car. But they really got to watch out right now for how much this Columbia car is gaining. I think by the time Lewis gets there, I think his tires are going to be shot. So I don't really know how much he'll really be able to do. But I think the hope right now is that as long as he gets there, I think he has a shot. It looks like he is starting to lose a little bit of that advantage now. He's not gaining as much in the corners. See Callahan once again fighting Siddon. Just trying to hold that position. 17 to go. It's Callahan sitting together, then Lewis about two and some seconds back. Then you got Burns about 8 seconds back. Then you have Selby and Mullen together. Callahan, I do believe, is going to have a little bit better tires just because of him having... Or just because I think he's going to save a little bit better than that 99 car is. $16 to go. Looks like Siddon's trying to go to that low side to try and make some time up. Lucas right now is hoping and praying that the 99 ends up washing into that quarter panel of the 18, takes both of them out. Lucas Lewis still about 2 seconds back. Has not made up enough time. He's not on track to make it up to the leaders right now. Siddon still trying to track down the 81 of Callahan. Still unable to do so. You can see Lewis on the screen now. In the back of the screen. He only has 1 lap fresher tires. But I think the difference is the fact that he's pushing that much harder to get to these guys. If Lewis can make up a little bit more than a tenth each lap, he has a chance. If he can get within a second, he'll have the draft and he won't lose as much on the straightaways. Callahan and Siddon have moved to the bottom now. I think Callahan's starting to push a little bit. He sees that Lewis is coming. Siddon, I don't think, has the tires to hang with Callahan for much longer. Coming up in a lap car here. I'm not entirely sure who it is. See Lewis starting to lose some time now. It looks like the 20 of Parsons is the lap car coming up, one of Callahan's teammates. You have to wonder if he'll play the team game or if he'll just let everyone go. Lucas now needs about a 1.3 tenths a second. Or 1.3 tenths a lap. I can talk. Callahan continuing to run away from Siddon. Like I said, Siddon's tires starting to fail him. Same with Lewis's tires. Lewis clears Parsons. 11 to go. With every lap, Callahan gets about 30 seconds closer to winning this race. Siddon's starting to pick up some time again. Same with Lewis. Siddon just loses so much on corner entry, I think. Callahan still leading with 10 to go. Took the lead on the pit cycle, was able to jump Lucas Lewis. Lewis was 4 seconds back. Now he's 1.4. He doesn't have the pace to get up there, though. He needs a caution. It's still between the 81 and the 99. 99 starting to fall back. Every now and then he'll get up to about 1/10 to 2/10, and then he'll begin to fall back to about 4. Another 30 seconds closer to the win for Callahan. Lewis still 1.4. Siddon now to 0.43. Now he's gaining out of 2. He's going to start cutting that gap down once again. In a 10th on the backstretch alone. A Siddon brother won last week. Can the other Siddon brother win this week? Obviously, Tanner was not able to make the playoffs because he's not a full-time driver. However, Trent is. Trenton going for the win here would lock him into the playoffs as a rookie. Now within 2/10 once again. Siddon needs to go for a move, even if it's out of desperation. I don't know if he has another chance here. Siddon loses some time in the corner. Looks like he might make it back up on the front stretch. 7 to go for Callahan. Lewis has fallen back to 1.5. I think Lewis's tires are done. He needs that caution. He's got 7 laps to get it. However, I don't think there's anyone near one another. Siddon's starting to fall back once again. See him starting to slide up in that turn a little bit more than Callahan does. Callahan looks a lot more stuck into the track right now. Lewis falling back to 1.6. 6 to go for Callahan. 3 tenths to Sidden. Out of 2, Sidden will likely gain again. Sidden just never gets in range for a move. Ever since about 20 or so to go, he's been stuck in the same loop of getting close and falling back within about a tenth to 5 tenths. Almost up to 4 tenths to Sidden. Sidden's going to continue to gain the backstretch though. Lewis up to 1.7. 5 to go. Coming to 4. Callahan won his first win at a 1.5 at Las Vegas in a late overtime finish. However, this race, it looks like he's going to go for a long run finish this time. Finished short at Auto Club due to a tire strategy that didn't work out for him. Lost to the 96 of Tanner Sidden. Now he fights with the 99 of Trenton Sidden, the brother of the guy he lost to last week. Callahan, like I said, has already won once this season. A win today would make him the first multi-win driver for Season 2. 3 to go for Callahan. If he can get by 2 more laps without a caution, Sidden is not really in attacking range. Burns might have an issue. I think he was just blinking. I can't tell. Callahan coming out of 4. Looking to make it 2 to go. He's got the brother of Trent Sidden ahead of him. Tanner Sidden, the winner from last week. Ahead of Callahan. Looks like he might move down a little bit. You have to wonder if he'll help his brother at all. His brother now 6 tenths back. I don't think he's in a position. Now about 8 tenths back is Trent Sidden. Back to 7. Callahan stuck on the bottom. Now to 6. Now to 5. Now to 4. Now to 3. Now to 2. Now to 1. Callahan's out of fuel. Callahan's out of fuel. David Callahan ran out of fuel at the line. Trent Sidden wins a week after his brother does, and now Sidden's out of fuel. Callahan was trying to save the whole time and lost fuel going into turn 3. Trent Sidden wins a week after his brother does on fuel strategy that I didn't even think we had. They must have done auto fuel. I think Sidden's out. Callahan, wow. I didn't think he'd run out of fuel. I mean, if you take 4 tires, it doesn't matter. Because you end up waiting longer on the tires than you do on fuel. I would have filled the tank up for at least a few overtimes, but wow. I think that might be all the fuel that Sidden has. Oh, no, I lied. Okay, maybe I didn't lie. So Trent Sidden will win here at Kansas in the 99 machine. Out of fuel at the line. Callahan out of fuel just before. That was I thought Callahan had it in the bag. I thought he was done. I thought that was the race. Lucas Lewis was 1 lap away from winning this race. If there was one more lap, Lucas Lewis had the fuel to get there. We are going to go ahead and talk to third place finisher David Callahan. David, this is Owen in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, man, I got you.
So, I have to ask, as a guy who likes strategy, did you use auto fuel?
It must have been why I got off with a good stop, because maybe he didn't fill it up all the way. I don't know. No, that's frustrating. My strategy was to learn from Auto Club and not pit so late. So I wanted to pit at the entry of my pit window and took a very aggressive pit road entry to gain as much time as I could on Lucas, because he had the car to beat. But I don't know. I thought I was at least a 1 lap good on fuel, and then coming to like 3 to go, he was like, "Hey, you got 2 laps left." So then I started feathering, ran about 75-50%. I had a big enough lead to do that, and then it started sputtering entering 3, and I was hoping to hold on just long enough, but unfortunate.
I mean, obviously it's not like a season ender for you, because thankfully you were able to win Vegas. But like, how disappointing is it to run out of fuel right there when you're in the lead?
Frustrating. I ran a fairly conservative race in the beginning. Obviously I started off with a penalty from last week, but was able to get to the front, had some speed to compete with Lucas and Tanner and even Corey, and the 42 was up there. But yeah, I thought I called it perfect again. It's two races in a row where just a little bit off on strategy kind of bites you. So.
All right. Well, next week we go to Talladega. Obviously, that could easily be another strategy race on who you pit with. So, I mean, how do you approach a race like that?
Like I said before, I'm not a fan of super speedways, so hopefully, the Toyotas work really well together. So hopefully we can get together, work together really well, and be on a similar strategy and get a win. I kind of hate we couldn't pull it off here, but yeah, we'll definitely talk some strategy and pitting and fuel wise, and hopefully pull it out on top next week.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go for tonight. Congratulations on P3, and we'll see you next week.
Alrighty, man, I appreciate it.
All right, that was the 18 of David Callahan. Now we're going to go ahead and talk to the 11 of Lucas Lewis, P2. Lucas, this is Owen in the booth. Do you got me?
Yes, sir.
So, obviously, P2. Not really. I mean, I'd argue it's not really what you deserved, but I mean, how do you view a race like that?
It was planned perfectly. I feel like I really proved myself about stop the aggression and just kind of just ran my own race. Got 2 stage points. I feel like it's one of the perfect races that I could have had. It's just we were so close. I feel like if we had another lap, I would have won the thing.
I think the biggest thing for you right now is, like you said, kind of proving that you can go out there and race and not make people mad. I mean, some people got mad at you, but I wouldn't argue that's your fault. So, I mean, you didn't win, which, I mean, obviously you wanted to win. But, I mean, you walk out with 55 points. You almost had a perfect day. So, I mean, you're already the points leader. You're probably going to gain even more points in the cut line after today. You are 13 above David Callahan. And I don't know where David finished in the stages, but you at least gained 1 point. Or you at least gained 3 points on him today. So, it means a lot, especially with how many playoff points you get for winning the regular season. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's just I feel like I had a perfect race going, and they were able to get on pit road better than me and got a better pit exit. Apparently, I mean, you gotta take it as it is, take it as a learning experience, and we move on to Dega or whatever we're going next. I think it's Dega,
Yes.
and
yeah,
we
Dega
try
next
to
week.
replicate that.
All right. Well, hopefully you can finish one spot better at Talladega next week. At least it wasn't 6,000ths this time, so I mean that's a plus. But
Yeah.
yeah. So good luck next week, and hopefully we find you one spot better.
All right, thank you, man.
All right. That was the second place finisher of Lucas Lewis. I'm gonna steal Trent while he's in his team VC, even though I don't know if I can. Trent, this is Owen in the booth. You got me?
What's up?
So obviously you win a week after your brother. I feel like you're just showing off now. But did you run out of fuel coming to the line?
Oh, I ran out off of 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was wondering why y'all were losing so much time to Lucas in the middle of the run, but I guess that makes sense because y'all were, I guess, saving so much fuel trying to make it.
Yeah, I was clutching it into the corners and everything.
Were
I had a
you?
little bit of bush light and a fuel tank got me through it.
Did you use? I asked David the same question. Did you use auto fuel? Like, did you have it auto set?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you that's exactly why I don't use that.
Yeah, it put exactly how much laps were left.
Yeah,
Which I thought was going to fill me up, so I was running I was running all out with David, just
Right.
hanging out with him. And then
It's
I ran
like,
out.
I know I'm not allowed to say this because I don't drive, but if it was me, I would have just filled it all the way. Because did you take 4 or 2?
4.
If you're going to take 4, you just fill the whole thing because it takes longer for tires than it takes for fuel. So,
Yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah. Now, the current Cup car, it takes longer for fuel than it takes for tires. But the old car, if you're going to take 4, I would just take fuel. That's what I've always said. If you're going to take 4, take all fuel. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it don't matter. You still won.
Hell yeah.
No one cares about auto fuel. I just had to know because I had to know. So your win actually counts.
Yeah, Tanner sucks.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, he did win before you. So
Hey.
but yeah, so you have that out of the way. You're locked into the playoffs now. You don't really have to worry about people getting on you in points and all that. I mean, I think you were decent in points before that, though. I mean, you were 11th.
Yeah, like 11th because I got a penalty for partying.
So, but I mean, like, I wouldn't. You're still 52 points above the cut line. So it wasn't like you were close to the cut line. But I mean, now you don't even have to worry about that at all if you had a few bad races because now you won. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a big deal. Kind of makes your life a bit easier, especially at Talladega. You don't have to worry as much about surviving. I mean, obviously you want to because you want to win, but
Oh yeah, I like to get now that I won 1. I feel like I can be more aggressive. Try to get 2
Right.
3.
well, I guess that brings me to the next question, which you kind of already answered. But I mean, how does winning this week affect how you run a super speedway at Talladega next week?
Well, instead of trying to stay out and get stage points like I've been trying to do, I can go all in for a win. Maybe flip stages if I have to or not.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can either go for that win to flip stages, or you can just try and get those 2 stage points.
Yeah.
It kind of comes down to what you think honestly is easier, is what I would say.
Yeah.
So, especially at a place like Talladega, it can be so hard to get those. So, I mean, it really comes down to what you think is best for you. So, I mean, we'll have to see next week. So,
Yeah.
obviously you won't have a teammate next week, will you?
No, he's leaving me.
So,
He watched me win and told me to get it. He kicked rocks.
So you're on your own next week. I guess we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
All right.
I feel bad for David. I mean, he made this paint scheme and everything. I was like, I'm finished second, and then we were going down back straightaway with like 3 to go, and we're like, we both like, we ain't gonna make it. But I got lucky.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your win tonight, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, sir.
All right, and that is Trent Sidden, your race winner tonight. So with that is going to be all for tonight's race. Trent Siddon in the 99 will take the win. If I can remember which one is my results. Nope. Nope. Maybe this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Trent Siddon wins. Lucas Lewis comes second once again here in this race. David Callahan finishes third after running out of fuel in the last lap. Gage Burns, P4. Steven Selby in his series debut finishes P5. Christian Mullen in P6. Then you have Christopher France a lap down in P7. Daryl Klotz involved in the first wreck of the night in P8. Tanner Siddon in the 96, last week's winner, who will not be back until December, in P9. Jordan Parker somehow survives the rest of this race to finish in the top 10. Corey Rainey finishes P11. James Parsons ends up in a pretty massive wreck, finishes 35 laps down in 12th. Joshua Hahn, P13. Corey McWilliams had a really great day going and just got unlucky with a 24. Finishes P14. Caleb Hess blew up tonight, finishes P15. John War, P16. Mark Morton in his series debut finishes P17. Joey Beam, P18. And then in 19th we have, because there's like one other guy, Ryder Morgan, 165 laps down, was involved in that first wreck which took him out of the race. Finishes 19th for tonight. So that is going to be all for us here. And we will catch you at Talladega next week. Same time, same place, 8:20 the stream will go live. We'll see who can win at the 2.66 mile super speedway. See y'all next week.